Hi, my name is Dr. Ali. Welcome to Foreign MD, where we share stories and experiences of foreign trained medical graduates who were able to navigate the rigorous transition process at every level. These stories are meant to inspire and encourage you. Stay tuned.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Foreign MD. I am your host, Dr. Ali, and if you're joining us for the first time, here we get to interview foreign medical doctors who were able to successfully transition from wherever they trained to a different location and were able to do it successfully. And so we share their stories, we get wisdom from their experience so that we can be inspired by their journey. So I have with me Dr. Martina here today, and I'm so excited that she agreed to be a guest today. So can you just briefly introduce yourself, Dr. Martina?
Of course. Thank you for having me, Dr. Ali. So my name is Martina Zigenbein. I am originally from Slovakia. I came to the United States in June 2001. So it's coming up on 23 years this June.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so you said you're from Slovakia. So I'm guessing you did your medical training over there?
Correct. I finished all of my medical training in Slovakia in June 2000. And I worked for almost full year at a local hospital in Eastern Slovakia because I couldn't match the right after medical school. But it was a good time. I got my feet wet a little bit, so to speak. And then I met the second year to residency in central Wisconsin.
You started the journey pretty early is what you're saying. Like you knew that you wanted to come to the States to practice. Like why that decision? What inspired you to do that?
Great question. Yeah. So actually, I was dating someone in medical school who was very much inclined and looking into that since he was a third or fourth year medical student.
Okay.
And then in the fifth year, when we started dating, so medical school in my country is 6 years.
Okay.
So
same as Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay. You go to medical school right after high school. So you don't have college. And we have basically high school and then directly to medical school. So in the fifth year, we had an opportunity to basically sign up, so to speak, or apply for a lab position at Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. And we both got accepted. So we interrupted our medical studies after the fifth year. We worked in different labs. We each worked in different labs, and we broke up actually during that year. But that's how it goes often. And at the end, we both had an opportunity at the end of that 1 year at Mayo Clinic to spend 1 month doing clerkship, meaning like shadowing.
Yeah.
Internal medicine residence, which in all honesty, that was one of the main things that helped me then get recommendation letters and helped me get interviews, because first year I didn't get any interviews when I tried to match, and second year I did. And that's what, having a recommendation letter from a US-based attending was helpful. Was
absolutely
helpful, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So right now you are currently practicing and you're a rheumatologist. Was that your original choice?
No, well, when I came to the United States in 2001, I thought I was going to do cardiology or specialize in cardiology, but then I met my first rheumatology mentor.
Yeah.
His was the first core lecture, like from the series of lectures. I don't know how it was for you, but basically at the time we were getting core lectures like several times a week on different topics. And his was the first one I experienced after coming to America. And he was so captivating, and he was talking in a way that made me say, I want to be like, I want to scare, and that's good times. And then I did my rotation, and I wasn't accepted to fellowship the first time around, but again through a stroke of luck, a little bit. So he became my mentor, and he learned about an open position at Boston University Medical Center that got open. I don't even know what were the circumstances, but basically they had an extra spot. And he called the fellowship director and tell him, you need to consider this person. So when I came for interview, then fellowship director said, well, I received 2 phone calls about you. So they either want to get rid of you or you. So yeah, so it was, a little bit of luck, but at the same time, I don't know whether you know that saying that Lady Fortune favors the bold and the ready.
Yes.
So I was ready, and there is always a little bit of luck, in my opinion. That the door opens at the right time. I was prepared, I was ready, and I took the chance. I took advantage of it. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm glad you get to do what you love. So when you started the journey to prepare, so I'm guessing you did most of your board preparations back home. What was that like for you?
Yeah, so that's a good question, right? Because I was trying to think now, when was my step 1 and step 2? So step 1, I was in that 5th year of medical school, and we did it. So Slovakia borders on Hungary, and at that time we couldn't do it in Slovakia. We had to travel to Hungary, which we took train, and then we also had the clinical skill assessment, which we had to travel to United States to do it, which was very expensive. We traveled there as a 6th-year medical student.
Yeah.
So the last year, and so we purchased books on like they were available. I forget now how, but basically it was recommended study for step 1 and step 2. So we purchased books, we studied together, and I didn't score very high. I'm going to tell you that right away, but I passed, right? I had a passing score.
Yeah.
And not haunted, but it was on my mind for a long time. Oh, I have a low score on step 1 and step 2. And it seemed to matter for selection for residency. But I have to tell you, it doesn't matter in terms of how well one is able to take care of patients.
True. Absolutely.
You probably found out that yourself.
Yes.
You can have a score. You can score in 99th percentile, and you can be someone who cannot talk to patients or patients. And so you can be brilliant and memorize materials, but you're not.
It doesn't make you a good doctor.
Right. Yeah. But it took me that's one of the wisdoms that I would share with other foreign medical graduates, FMGs.
Yeah, do not judge yourself based on your US scores.
If you pass, be happy that you passed and let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. Okay, so how long did it take? So it took you, I'm guessing it took you about 1.5 years to get your board exams done. That's what it sounds like.
I think it took 2 years, right? A 5th and 6th year.
Okay.
So 2 years, and it helped that I was in medical school because because like I was still in the middle of. I cannot imagine quite well how people who already are done with med school and who are studying after like that is. I could never learn those things like the biology and the chemistry and all these things and the basic science stuff. I don't think I remember anything from my step 1 or step 2. I can tell you that. Obviously, if you cannot do it during medical school or if the circumstances don't present yourself, then you do what you have to do. But it's much easier to study during medical school.
I think so too. Like when I've heard people's stories, just at least the decision to know early when you want to transition is important. Like the earlier you know, the better. That way, except you're well prepared and you can, like I said, either start it when you're in school, right? Because it's easier to study when you're in an environment that all you do is study, as opposed to when you get out and then you're working or you have family and then you try to study. So it does get tougher. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm gonna say here, I think the same applies to what every other big decision we make in life. If you decide you're gonna do something and you're committed, then it's almost like there is nothing to stop you from doing it, right?
Absolutely.
You do what it takes, which is another motto I have lived by for the past 1.5 years, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And of course, don't whatever it takes within a reason, meaning you eat and you hydrate and you sleep and you take care of your body. But whatever it takes in terms of I'll do whatever it takes to accomplish this goal.
Your goals. Yeah.
So it still can be done. It just the different challenges are presented to people who already have
different stages.
Right. Yeah.
So you match the second, a year after you graduated and then you get into your residency program, was it just like, was it everything you dreamed about? Was it like easy, smooth transition? Did you just go there, just knock it off the socks? Like, what was that like for you?
I honestly don't remember what I was imagining. I think I was, I can't remember, but it was, something happened very, like 3 months into my residency, which I feel changed the course of my first year.
Yeah.
My mom's sister, my aunt, she died after 3 week hospital course. She died of aneurysm. It was very, yes, thank you. It was traumatic, and I couldn't travel because it's right after 9/11, and the amount of paperwork, and I just didn't even know what I needed, and I didn't feel I had the agency to find all the ways to be able to travel. Basically, it would have been a big hassle.
Yeah.
And she was in a hospital initially for 3 weeks. And then we had this in training exam. I don't know whether you remember, but it was the step one.
October. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she was still alive, but she was on a ventilator. And this in training exam is happening. And I started crying while there was a fake patient, right? There was a real patient. And I'm supposed to screen her for depression. And I'm giving her this questionnaire, and I started sobbing. It was so heartbreaking, and I didn't do very well on that intro. I don't have to tell you that, I guess, on that intro. I didn't do very well on that. 2 months later, when we had our mid-year evaluation, my preceptor for the clinic for internal medicine, who then also was my attending for hospital a month, she failed me in both. Like, she failed me for the, how do you call it, in hospital rotations? I don't know.
Inpatient rotation.
Yeah, inpatient. Yes. And she failed me for my clinic precept. I was devastated. And my mom and sister came to visit from Europe for the first time. My mom lost like 30 pounds because of, she was grieving her sister.
Yeah.
Right. And I was miserable.
Yeah.
I also had a heartbreak. My fiance and I, who stayed in Slovakia, and we broke up. So it was just emotional disaster, so to speak. And I didn't know whether I was going to be able to recover. But they stayed for a week, and we cried a lot. We talked, we did nothing a lot. And, I decided, we were talking, do I go back? And my sister's like, no. Just because you failed, it doesn't mean you're going to give up.
Yeah.
Pull yourself together, and we will support you in no matter, in whatever way we can. They gave me a remediation plan in terms of, how to, because I failed those 2 rotations.
Yes.
And I felt very inadequate, and I stayed. It was very hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just fast forward because I want to, but I just want to. Basically, I stayed and I worked hard. I studied hard. And in the middle of the 3rd year, a vignette competition, state competition, resident competition for clinical cases. Mm-hmm. And when we came home from that competition, people would like congratulate me because we were a small residency, so people knew that of my success. And one attending in particular, he came to me and said, I want to congratulate you on your success. I have to say, I did not think you were going to make it. and you did. And I'm very impressed. And basically, it was so encouraging to hear those words. Because I gave so much weight to outside validation of my skills.
Yeah.
And that's another advice I would like to give to other foreign MDs. Do not put a lot of weight on outside validation, because it's important to pass, to have passing grades and it's important to be good clinically and good knowledge. But for medical graduates from other countries, my experience is that most of us, our medical knowledge is very good. Like, our foundation is very good, but we are very often timid. We don't know how to express ourselves properly or confidently. And so much comes from how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. And that can only be found from within. Basically, one has to be secure within themselves in order to portray that confidence to the patient and to the attending. And I thought I had to be perfect in order to portray it. And that's nonsense. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to look it up, or you have to know whom to ask.
Say that again.
You cannot know everything today in medicine. So that was one of the biggest lessons, honestly, I learned, because I didn't think that my knowledge has changed that much. Obviously, I grew and I learned with the rotation, but I was still the same person in terms of my medical foundation and knowledge. I just changed my presentation. I was presenting myself different. And yes, it helps to have a good mentor, and it helps to win a clinical vignette competition. But again, I was basing that a lot on my, on external success. And I have faced that every time since then. When I transitioned to a new environment, I always struggle initially. And I struggle with learning new EMRs, electronic medical systems, medical records. I struggle with learning the systems, and there's always a little bit of dip, including dip in confidence before I recover. And during those transition periods, the most important thing is to be gentle and kind to ourselves, because nobody else will. And if we are not kind to ourselves, the price is dysregulated nervous system, lack of proper sleep, anxiety, depression, and just like not functioning well, right? So
that's awesome. Like I can totally resonate with every single thing that you said. It's amazing how you can be, I mean, like I said, just two different people, but everything you said with the transition, and then also, like I said, struggling with anxiety and depression and just things going on that affect you. Because I was failed in my first rotation, my first inpatient rotation. They said I had to do it again, and I remember my program director calling me to her office, and she sat me down and she asked me, did everyone help you with, did you have good support, like as a first year? And I didn't, but I didn't know how to say that I did it, because I felt like, should I be, I didn't know, how much to say that I really didn't feel like I had that support, because
right. And you don't know what is okay to say, because you feel since you're the only one failing, everybody else is doing okay. So, and everybody else, you think everybody else is getting the same support, and it's not the same. And we feel, or I felt obligation to kind of go with the flow and fall in my lane, so to speak. And basically, it's not their job to make sure I'm okay. And the thing is, I'm working for them. I'm giving myself to the patients and to the facility. It is a little bit their job to ensure that the conditions are the best they can be for my learning. And that's one of the things that FMGs need to really do, to advocate for themselves. And I have heard and read stories on Facebook, like horrid things about how they mistreat the FMGs because they feel, or they, meaning the administrations of residency programs, they feel they have them,
kind of like,
can control them.
Yes. You feel like you got in and you feel like, oh my God, I really didn't deserve to be here. And now I'm here. So I feel like if you voice an opinion that may mess up your chances, or you just feel grateful to be there and say, it was so hard to get in here. Now I'm here. I just want to just put my head down and not say a thing,
not rock the boat. And the thing is, it's possible to be grateful to be there and still voice and stand up for ourselves and basically say what is not working and what is working. I remember one moment, that was my second month there. So the first month was okay. It was infectious disease rotation, and the attendings were very kind, not making you feel rushed. And then the second rotation, the attending came, it was ICU, and the attending who came on board was on a vacation 2 weeks. So he just came back from vacation, and normally he speaks fast, but because he was just back, he was just like, let's get going. And I was I would miss 30% of what he was saying because he was speaking so fast. And I felt ashamed to say. So there was a language barrier too, even though, I had my English was very good at that time, but to go like this, so fast, it was just, however, I was able to adapt quite a bit to his tempo. And when he was giving me evaluation at the end of his rotation, at that time we were given evaluation by numbers, and the best number or max was 9.
Yeah.
And he gave me a couple of 7s, and most of them were 6. And I was devastated. And then only later, when I talked to other residents, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Dr. Quinn gave you 6 and 7. Consider yourself like high bar," because he usually gives 5 and 6. So the fact that you got 6 and 7 is like, be grateful, please, Martina. Yeah.
You talked about that confidence factor, and that was something I had to learn the hard way, because where we were trained, there's this thing about, put your head down, when you're attending a doctor is, we're very timid is the way I would put it. We don't exude confidence, and we're not taught to be confident, right? So when we show up, we don't take charge. Is the way I saw it in myself. It's like, okay, let the attending doctor take charge and, let them speak confidently to the patient, but it's not my role as, the first year to do that. But I learned the hard way that, no, they want to see that confident you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, and you don't have to know everything to be confident. There's always that factor of, if you don't know it, say, I'll go check it up later. Right. And so I discovered that most of the people the students or the doctors that train here, that's something that they embodied that I didn't have. I didn't have that show up in a room and take charge atmosphere around me. And so it was a hard process. I had to learn it the hard way that because of my experience, by the time I was already in second year, I was so supercharged with confidence, you would think I'm a third year, because I had to learn it so quick.
You adapted.
Yeah. I saw what it was doing. I saw what not showing up confidently in the room was doing. Because when you don't do that, people think you don't know it. Like, they just assume that you don't know it, but you actually do, but you don't know how to show it. You don't show, it's like you're not present in the room when you don't show up confidently. So it is important to build that confidence.
Right. And just also, it comes from the feeling that I belong. Like, if I belong, I show it shows. And when you feel you don't belong,
when you feel like an imposter.
Yeah, right. And that comes from within. Basically, when I do think about regret from the residency and fellowship, my biggest regret is that I didn't enjoy myself more. Basically, I put so much weight on what other people thought about me. And first of all, you can't please everyone. There is never ever situation when everybody will like you or think of you highly. But second of all, I wish I had thought of like, I'm here and I'm going to enjoy it because it's amazing. I don't know whether, tomorrow is not promised. I'm just going to have a good time. And I think that attitude would have served me much better than, oh my gosh, what do they think? I need to study hard so that I can have a grade. No, I need to study hard so that I know it for myself and for the patient. I need to know where to look up information. I need to have, I want to be resourceful, not to get a good grade.
Yeah.
So, but you need to get, there is still the system of testing, which, that's a separate story.
But I mean, everything happens, right, for a reason. I mean, if you didn't go through what you went through, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? And someone would not.
I guess so. At the same time, why did it take me so long to get to where I am now, which is I'm pursuing what I want. I'm pursuing my dream life, but it took me so many years. And that's basically, that's my biggest message to other FMGs. If you have a tug on your heart pulling and it's pulling in a certain direction, do not wait 5, 10, 13 years. Do not allow yourself or other people tell you that you cannot do it, that you don't have what it takes. Because we do. We just have to believe it.
Yeah.
And when we start believing in ourselves, amazing things happen.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Now, do you feel like when you were going through what you were in your residency program, did you feel like you got enough support? I don't know, was your program structured in that way where you felt like
residency? Yes, residency. Okay. I do think so. I think people truly, really try to help, especially my program director and other attendings. Of course, not every attending believed in me, but that's not their job. Yeah. It's my job to believe in myself. And so maybe I didn't get enough instruction on how to do that, how to increase that inner confidence, but I cannot blame the program. You know, my program was small, and that was really my saving grace, because it was only six residents per year, 6 internal medicine residents. They had other specialties, but only 6 internal medicine per year. So we knew each other, and we were supportive of each other, and that was good.
That's awesome. That does help.
Right. It was different in fellowship. It was more like everybody's there for themselves. Plus, I always felt like I didn't have the pedigree, the right pedigree. You know, I didn't go through Ivy medical school or Ivy school residency.
Yeah.
And some people look down upon me. But again, the same rule applies. Don't let that affect you, because that's something about them, not about you.
Not about you.
Skills and your efforts, right?
Yeah.
But I did feel it. But look, I'm here. I survived, and what I have learned is, so I shared it with one of my female attendings at the time, and basically, like, I shared impression I got. I have very good intuition, and I felt a couple of attendings were kind of not in favor of me or not supportive. And she said, Martina, so it could be true, but you have to look at what you need to do here. You came here to learn. You came here to serve patients, and you came here to become a rheumatologist. Like, you came here to learn rheumatology, and that is your only business. And I needed to hear that, and that's what I focused on. Later, it was confirmed to me indirect by another fellow who said, they kind of spoke bad behind your back.
Yeah.
And it's done, but at the same time, I got what I needed. I got what I got there for. I got excellent rheumatology education, and again, it's not their job to be supportive, but that was a little, you know, disappointing, I should say.
Yeah.
And then I went on to do a lupus fellowship at Johns Hopkins, which was the most stressful time in my life. And that was the first time ever in my entire life that I experienced panic attacks.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know. I'm laughing at it, but I didn't know what it was. I actually thought there was something wrong with my heart, because I would be just sitting at my desk, and my heart started beating like 140, 160. I was sitting calmly at my desk. I was so stressed out. I felt so much pressure to perform.
Yeah.
I felt so inadequate. It was really ridiculous. I don't even know how else to say it, but I was able to find support within that system that was extremely helpful. And it was thanks to my now ex-husband. He spoke up, and he wrote a letter to the program director.
Oh, wow.
He said, this is unreasonable. My wife works like crazy, and she is stressed to no end. This is not healthy. Wow. Right. And my life got better after that, but I have to say I was looking forward to leave. And I had a calendar where I was counting you know, and after that, I decided that I'm not for academic medicine, and that's when I decided to go into. No, but it was good for me. It was good, and I don't think I would have thrived in academic environment, even if I had a different mentor. I'm just not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, I had, yours came a little bit later, but I remember my first panic attack, and this was in my first months of residency. I had never experienced. I didn't even know when it happened. I remember it so well because I was seated and I was talking. I just seen the patient, and I sat down to talk to my attending doctor, and then he's asking me all these questions, and all of a sudden, like, I can't breathe, like my heart's like racing,
right, the breathing.
And I'm like, what's going on? And are you okay? I couldn't speak. and they took me out and they gave me some water and then it hit. You just had a panic attack. That was when I knew how stressed and how anxious, like that I was deep in anxiety. Like I knew I was anxious, but I didn't know how deep it was until I experienced that, which it just threw me off because, like I said, as one who had never dealt with anxiety or never dealt with depression, all of these were so new to me. And so when you said that, I just had a flashback.
Yeah.
Of
How were you able to deal with it? And did you overcome that? Or did you?
I did. And, a lot of it came just through divine intervention and through my family support. But it's fun because I was surrounded by physicians, right? Like, and we are trained to pick up depression in patients or, but then I'm here surrounded by a group of so many physicians, but no one could actually tell that I was depressed or that I was anxious, and so just a lot of support and encouragement from my family. And I would say that when the individual who tried to make my life unpleasant, when he left, there's a different atmosphere that came about me and I could walk into the clinic, otherwise it was me walking into, especially wards, which was where I started from. Like literally when I walk in, I'm visibly shaking. Like I will see myself visibly shaking. I would go to the mirror in the bathroom and I'll tell myself, you can do this. Stop shaking. Be confident. You know this stuff. Like don't allow this get the better of you. Like I would see myself talking to myself. I mean, I literally visibly see myself like, having tremors, but not being able to control it. And I think one of the things that also happened for me was my entrance exam. That was one of the turning points because when we came in initially, or when we started, just like an orientation, we did like a mock entrance exam and I didn't pass it. But anxiety was already kicking. So my program director calls me and is like, hey, whenever I didn't pass my first rotation, it's like, that entrance exam is very important. Like you have to work hard for it. And so come October, we took the entrance exam. And by December, I got the highest score in among the first years, and so it was like, oh, like, okay, she actually knows something. And that, kind of made me feel like, okay, yeah, like I actually do know stuff, it's just the anxiety and the depression that were just weighing on me so heavily that I could not even function in that space. But then when that happened, and it kind of built my inner confidence a bit like, you actually do belong here. You can actually do this. Nothing is, and a friend of mine said something to me that has stuck me out there. She said, knowledge is not congenital. You're not born with knowledge. Yeah. It is acquired. So whatever you don't know today, if you apply yourself, you can know it tomorrow. Like I have to learn it because it's my duty to learn it. I have to make sure that, so if I don't know it, that's fine. I don't know it today, but tomorrow doesn't mean I'm not going to know it. And so that helped me. So yeah, I just had a bit of flashback when you mentioned the panic attack. So you were done. So after you were done with fellowship, so what did it look like starting the whole process of job searching? What did that look like for you? Did you land your dream job immediately?
Well, I returned basically to the residency, to the same facility where I did residency, not the same location, but a different hub. They had multiple satellite locations. I went to northern Wisconsin. It was very serene. I loved it. But after I divorced in 2010, so I was there from 2007 until 2010, I started feeling kind of sagging, and I moved to a different facility in 2013, but still within Wisconsin. And then my mom died in 2014. And that's when I first started looking for a different job.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. My mom saved me many times, including when I was at Johns Hopkins. She came and lived with me for 6 months. So she was my support system and my anti-anxiety and anti-depression. It was amazing. But anyways, I lived in Wisconsin. I tried to escape once. And when I say escape, I just didn't tolerate the long winters and really, really hard winters. I tried to escape once in 2015 and it didn't work out in terms of job, but I got my son out of it. My son was born in 2016 in North Carolina. He turned 7 in November.
Oh, wow.
And I returned to Wisconsin after that. And I stayed. I was a single mom, overwhelmed. And then when pandemic came, I realized I really just don't want to be in Wisconsin. And I also knew that I wanted something else, but I didn't know. I have been employed all of this time. I have been always an employed rheumatologist, and I moved to Cape Cod in 2021. And it was after I moved when I realized, okay, moving didn't quite help. Like, it helped to be by the ocean, and I loved it, but there was still this inner unrest within me. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I wanted something else. And finally, a year and something ago, I decided that what I need to do is to basically pursue being on my own. And Right. And I decided to open private practice, which I did about 3 months ago. And
congratulations.
It's scary. Thank you. It's super scary.
Yeah.
And it's hard financially right now, but I have zero regrets. I have many ideas of what I want to do.
Wow.
And my one niche of mine is chronic pain management and infection. And basically, it's my purpose in life to help men and women who have chronic pain. So
that is awesome. Well, I do wish you all the best. And
thank you.
Hoping to hear good things, and that you're thriving, and just, like I said, just being happy, doing what you love and finding your purpose. Yeah. For some people, it doesn't happen immediately, but every experience that you build has led you to here, to figuring out what you want to do. And so that is awesome. That's amazing. So I'm so glad that you're able to share your story with me today. But I wanted to ask you, looking back through your journey, your experiences, was there anything you wish you had known earlier that may have prepared you well? I know you've given us a lot of tips, while you've been talking.
No, but I think it boils down to two things. My last 20 years, and number one is find a way to believe in yourself. If you need to, this is advice to other FMGs. Take a piece of paper and write down all the things when you did feel victorious, when you did feel good about yourself. Remind yourself of these occurrences, of these circumstances, and find a way to believe in yourself, even in whatever is your current circumstance. You are the one whose job is to believe in yourself. Because yes, you can receive encouragement from others, but ultimately it's my job to believe in myself and believe in my business, believe in my dream.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do it for me. Yeah. And one way to approach it is, or to feel that way, is to look at the past, at each of our past, and see where we were victorious, where we felt really good about ourselves, when we achieved something and felt really good about it. And it could be something really small, but that's the foundation for feeling confident. And number two is to learn how to recognize, label, process all of the emotions, because that is a key to basically then feeling confident when we are able and willing to face any emotion and feeling we have. It's like a key to the universe.
Yeah.
And emotions are results of our thoughts, and we can decide which thoughts we have. So I could look at my past and decide that I'm a failure because I failed, or I can decide that I failed the first rotation, or the internal medicine rotation, the wards rotation. However, what is my experience? I got an experience. I got to feel how defeat feels, and I didn't give up, and I persevered. And basically, it's the story we tell ourselves that determines how we're going to feel about ourselves today, tomorrow, basically, and how we're going to act. When we believe in ourselves and our dream, it shows.
It does.
And then it kind of snowballs. But yeah, these are the self-belief, or believing in ourselves, and so learning how to process all the emotions.
That is awesome. Well, thank you. I mean, like I said, it's been an awesome time talking to you. And if someone wants to reach out to you to ask any questions, are you available on any social media side, or just to kind of ask about your journey?
Yes, thank you for the question. So I am on Facebook, and my name is Martina Lenartova. My real name is Digenbein, but my Lenartova was my maiden name. So Lenartova, Martina Lenartova. Or they can, if somebody is interested in referring a patient to me, my website name is Whole Health Rheumatology of Cape Cod. Whole, WHOLE, Health Rheumatology of Cape Cod.
Awesome. I will put those in the show notes so that hopefully there's a link where people can go and just follow you up. And like I said, I do wish you all the best and thank you. Everything you shared today has been so beneficial. I do know someone is going to benefit from your journey. I'm also going to put this up. So we are on Spotify now. We're also on YouTube, so you can watch this. And thank you, Dr. Martina.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please share, like, and subscribe to encourage a fellow physician who is also on this transition journey.